Hello barber nerds, it's TZ the Barber here, and today I'll show you guys how I did a taper for 2019 prom. First, I go in with my retro Wahl liners, and I create my first guideline. It's considered a hard guideline, but a lot of people don't like doing this because it's difficult sometimes to take out, but I'll show you guys a cool way of taking out this guideline, and it makes your blending look really nice and seamless too. Next, we're going to move into the shavers, and that's just for a cleaner look at the bottom. We don't go all the way up to our guideline, but we just clean up the bottom a little bit, as you can see. Second, now to take out that hard guideline, that first guideline that we created, we just go in with our magic clip all the way close, and you can see it take out that hard guideline right there at the bottom, which is a really cool way. If it's zero gap, you could take out that hard guideline. Now we go in second and create our next guideline with our no guards all the way open. You see we're creating a second guideline there. And to take out that guideline, we're actually going to go in with it halfway closed, as you can see. And it's going to start blending in pretty nicely and taking out that line that we created. As you guys can see, it's almost all the way blended too, which is pretty cool. Nice and seamless all the way from the bottom at the shavers all the way up to no guard all the way open. So now we're going to go in with the one all the way open and create our other guideline with a flicking out motion. So you can see we're almost at the nape of the head, so our guidelines aren't that big at the back. All we're going for right now is blending, so we go back in with it closed and just lightly tap just to take off the extra hair that's at the bottom. As you can see, it's already blending a little bit too. By doing so, we created another guideline which we're going to be taking out with the 1/16 all the way open. At first, it's not going to take out the whole line, but as we gradually close the 1/16, you're going to see how the line's just going to start blending in. And as you can see, it's starting to blend in. That line's starting to disappear. And you can see the taper coming into formation. Next, we're going to go with the 1.5 all the way open and just take out some of that bulk that's all the way up there at the top. We're just pretty much debulking now because our taper is almost finished. Just going to blend the top there in. To make it look more clean. And we're going to go back with it closed and just start blending that line that you can see visible there. The 1.5 won't take out all the hair and won't blend it all the way completely, but that's where the cleanup work begins. You just go back in with the 1 all the way open, gradually close it, and that's gonna take out all the rest of the hair and blend up the hair pretty good, as you guys will see coming up. Like I stated, as you guys could see, we're going back in with the 1 all the way open and gradually closing it and just blending So you can have a nice transitional blend all the way from the 000, which is the shavers, all the way up to 1.5 open. Now that side is complete. We're gonna move on to the side taper. As you guys can see, much like the back, we're actually completing the same steps over. Went in with the Wahl retro liners, and now we're going back with the shavers to clean it up, give it a nice clean look from the bottom all the way up to the top blending. And gonna go back in with it closed, our Wahl magic clip all the way closed. And you go back with it open, create a second guideline, and as you guys could see, I'll let this run just so you guys could see the process, but it's just like the same steps as in the back. The only difference on this side is that we're working on a smaller section area, so our guidelines aren't as big, but because we're having a very high taper here, we still go pretty high up. You could do a very tight taper on the corners, or you could do a really, really loose and high taper. It all depends on what the client wants. When you're blending straighter hair, you do like to keep a comb, just so you could bring the hair back down and you can see where your blending starts and where it stops, and wherever you need to go back in and clean up. It's a really handy tool to have handy. While blending his hair all the way up to the top where debulking starts. I don't go all higher than a 2 because I haven't completely did an all around cut on the top of his head to which guard he wants, the lowest he wants on top. So I just go all the way up to like a 1.5 or a 2. And then from there, when I actually take his hair down, I could just go back in and blend the sides in and take out whatever bulk is left at the bottom. And as you can see, the blending is looking pretty clean. It's just cleanup work now. At the end of the video, you guys will see how, after I actually go around the whole head and line them up and taper, how the blend actually looks. Different professionals have different methods to how they actually complete their taper, but this is the way that I do mine. There's a million different ways to cut hair, but I think this is a very efficient way. Right here, I'm just going into one of the sides and lining up the sides, the sideburns, and connecting it to the hairline. As you can see, if you go in and look at the actual taper, you can tell the blending is not complete. So later on, you just do some cleanup work, and like I said, you guys will see at the end of the video how the taper is actually completed. This is just a showing of creating your lineup. Now we move to the back of the ear, and this is one of my favorite lineups to do because it makes the haircut look so clean, so crispy, so nice, and it kind of brings out your taper. If you actually look at it, you can see the completeness of the haircut in the back. whenever I go in to do my lines, I try to just use corners. Either the right corners or the left corners, especially when I'm going around the ears, because you don't want to really nick the ear or anything like that. So just be gentle around the area, going with the corners, and you get the same results. As you can see, look pretty clean and sharp. Also, when you go in, if your liners are zero gap, you just want to tap the skin. You don't really want to go in too hard and create an unnecessary cut on the back of their neck or the front of their head. Alright guys, so we're going to move over to the right side, and pretty much the steps are the same. It's completely the same from the other side. So while this is running, because this is a learning channel and it's a channel that I want to be very informative, I'll go ahead and just put out some information out there that I think is really important if you want to get into the barber culture and into the barber scene. And it's something that I've come to accustom to knowing that these are the things that you really need to have if you want to take this profession very seriously. And the first thing is barbers, they respect the profession that they're in. You know, when I started going to school, I actually had to learn how to respect the craft that I chose and the profession that I chose. And from doing that, I just became a real professional about everything that I do, be it school, all of the tools that I carry, and the way that I actually handle and deal with my clients. The next thing is they have a love for being around people and talking to people. That's something you could develop over time, and it's something that eventually will become very helpful in keeping your clients and learning about your clients, what they like, what they don't like, and stuff like that. And that could go a really long way. Next thing is they're entrepreneurs. This journey has brought me into entrepreneurship, and I feel like anyone who's getting into this business, that's your ultimate goal anyways, is to become your own boss, is to create your own schedule, is to create a life that you actually want for yourself. All right, the next thing is creativity. Barbers, as you can see, the spectrum has grown so much in the past couple of years for us, which is exciting. And it gives you so much room now to be creative with whatever it is that you do. And it's exciting because we don't really get to stay in one box. You know, we get to experience a lot of things while still doing the main thing that we actually love, which is barbering. So just be creative with your work. Try different things. Learn different things. That's something that is really helpful to me too, and that probably could help everyone else too, is just try anything. You'll never know what you could do unless you actually try it. And I've learned a lot of things just by trying it so far. All right, and the other thing is sanitation. That's a word that's just been thrown at me so many times that it's just stuck in my head. Sanitation, sanitation, sanitation. Your top priority while dealing with your clients is sanitation. Yeah, you want to give them a clean cut. Yeah, you want to give them the best service you possibly can, but at the same time, you want to maintain your sanitation. You want to maintain a level of cleanliness, and that starts with the way you dress, you know, the way you take care of yourself, and the tools, how clean your tools are. And I feel like those are a lot of the things that it might seem very small, but those are things that if you harp on really a lot, you could actually find yourself being in this business for a really long time. And that's something that I'm hoping on to. And if it's something that's just been harping on me for so long, I just feel like that's a cool information to pass on to other people. I hope some of that information is helpful. So now we're going to get back to the cut. We're going to get back to actually lining up the front of the hair, which most people consider the most important part of the hair cut. This is a hairline. You want to have that nice crispy hairline, and I usually start from the middle. Middle is like your neutral area. It's your middle ground. It's your starting point. So I move from the middle to each corners, and that's how majority of the time I get a really straight lineup. It's not a quick thing. It's something that you just take your time with to make sure it's pretty straight. And when you're in this area, you try not to tap very hard on the client, because especially if you have a zero gap liners, they might cut them really easily. So you go in very lightly and just tap, just to get those fine hair out. Especially having a sharp liner, you could tell, you could just tap it and you see the hair falling out. So there's no need for you to go in really hard and create a mark on the client's forehead. As you can see here, his hairline's already looking a little bit straight, but it still needs a little bit more work. So I just go in and do detailed, clean work. Try to be very careful in this area, because you know you're holding a very sharp tool and you're right in front of someone, so anything could happen. Just be careful in this area. But when you have your nice, clean, and crispy hairline, it makes your haircut stand out so much more, and every barber could attest to that. When you look at a haircut, especially if a person have a hairline, that's one of the first things you look at. How crispy is the lineup? Sometimes the blend could be off. You could not blend every part of the hair right, but as long as you have that crispy lineup, it's still a nice haircut. Alright, barber nerds, if you guys have any ideas of any videos you'd like to see, any other haircuts, leave it in the comment section below. And let's start a dialogue on what you enjoy about being a barber, why you became a barber, and what are your barber goals. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll actually see you guys in the next video.